Darkwood is a game with one of the most unique atmospheres that I've ever seen in a video game. It's set in a remote rural area which has been taken over by a massive outgrowth of trees that isolated it from the rest of the world and somehow infected the residents both physically and mentally. Holstin's setting reminded me a lot of Darkwood in the best possible ways. In this upcoming survival horror, you play as Thomas, who dresses up as Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil 4 and goes on a somewhat similar mission to a remote Polish town to find his friend, a journalist who went there to investigate and report on shady activities conducted in a local slaughterhouse. Upon reaching the town, Thomas sees that it has been engulfed by this organic material and turned certain people into blob zombies. I played the demo of the game during Steam Next Fest of June 2025. The first thing that immediately hooked me is its visual presentation. According to the Kickstarter page of the game, it uses a certain in-house technology called 2XD rendering, which allows the game to have multiple camera modes and perspectives while having a distinct pixel art look. You explore the world, interact with characters, and engage in melee combat in an isometric perspective that you can rotate around any time. But then, during gun combat, you can quickly switch to an over-the-shoulder perspective to precisely target these glowing orbs and other limbs of the zombies. It has the usual survival horror stuff like limited inventory space that requires you to play briefcase Tetris, herbs that you can eat raw to replenish health or mix with alcohol to create a stronger healing potion, the ability to create ammo by mixing nails and gunpowder, etc. While the resource management, shooting, puzzle solving, and item gathering is very similar to your standard survival horrors, the interesting characters that you meet and converse with in order to uncover the town's mystery and to gain information about the whereabouts of your friend has a slight Disco Elysium vibe about it, which I really enjoyed. While not all the characters you meet are completely crazy, there is a tone of eeriness in their nonchalance about the horrifying state of the town. They also seem to not be able to see or register the presence of zombified people walking around. This complete lack of engagement from the NPCs with these zombies at times seem like a bug, at times like a deliberate feature to add to the abnormality of the town. Either way, it kind of works.
To jak będzie świeżak? Robimy wymiankę?
Along with it, the ability to rotate the isometric camera that has a subtle deliberate inertia to it, the lack of background music but the inclusion of well-put diegetic music and ambient noise, the excellent art design that paints a drab, dilapidated city, and weirdly enough, the Polish voice acting that is the only option currently, I hope it stays that way, creates this very unique atmosphere of unease while keeping you extremely curious to know more. It very much reminded me of films like Satan Tango. There is a quest log which tracks your interactions with NPCs and of places you've explored, things you need to obtain, etc., giving you an illusion of an open world, although all these different quote-unquote quests lead to a rather linear path, at least in the demo it was the case. I really like this micro open world approach, which is again very similar to Disco Elysium. The combat is fun and, just like other aspects of the game, shows a good understanding of the genre on the developer's part. You have to hold the melee attack button long enough to charge it and then release it at the right time to effectively hit the target. With guns, you have to focus on destroying these glowing blobs on the zombies to damage them effectively. There is a satisfying amount of dismemberment and gore in the combat that I really liked. I played on normal difficulty and throughout my 3 hours playthrough, I only died once. Although I came close to dying a few times, I think the difficulty is well balanced. The investigation and puzzle solving parts were so engaging though that I didn't miss combat all that much anyway. The only thing I didn't like about this demo is the abundance of items. You meet this guy who sells you bullets for your handgun in exchange of cigarettes. There are simply too many cigarettes you can find all over the town. It's just too many. Especially because you can craft bullets yourself and this guy would even loan you bullets if you're completely empty.
Świeżak, ja dbam o moich fąfli w potrzebie, ale to nie jest jadłodajnia. Chyba że naprawdę się wypstrykasz. Wtedy możemy porozmawiać o pożyczce.
So the sheer amount of cigarettes you find all over the place basically eliminates one of the core aspects of the survival horror experience. It needs a lot of balancing.
You need a different approach.
The camera rotation mechanism in the isometric view, while a novel idea, does feel pretty disorienting. You often lose sense of direction and thus end up wasting time walking around trying to find your footing. It doesn't help that you do need to keep rotating the camera lest you miss any important item or interactable thing. While from the Kickstarter page of the game it is apparent that it's deliberate, but to me the novelty wore off pretty fast and my feelings about this mechanism as of now is somewhat mixed. I loved that you get to experience other perspectives though, like this short top-down section or this first-person driving section at the end of the demo. They really add value to the game. I've tried some other survival horror demos during the Next Fest and they were all pretty good, but Holstin is the one I'm most eagerly waiting for. It just scratches that perfect itch for a premise like Darkwood with investigative elements and odd characters like Disco Elysium and even a tinge of Pathologic in it somewhere that I didn't even know needs scratching. It does take a little time to grow on you, kind of like the plasmodium that grew in the town. But from what I could experience in this demo, I am very hopeful for a great game.